Blessings and welcome forward to Reasonings Right Here at Your Life. I'm your host, Jerome Sage Butler, once again joining you from my wonderful home in the mountains of the Blue Mountains in Jamaica. Yes, St. Andrew, Jamaica. I just want to welcome you once again to Reasonings Right Here at Your Life. It's a beautifully overcast day. It's the spring, bringing forward the spring rains because it has been such a while since the rains have been here on a daily basis. And I remember when we were first shooting on Sela Media, there was always a thing with the rains, you know. So I kind of in between the showers now, so it's kind of good, and I feel so energized. Yeah, willing? I should be good. I feel very happy this moment because, in a lot of ways, things in my reality has got themselves to a place where there's clarity. Not complete clarity, because I guess that will be complete awakening. It's a journey, and I love where I'm at on my journey. And I know there's a lot of people who are also going through awakenings in their personal, family relationship, even your professional relationships. And as you put your thoughts together, your plans together, your activities together towards a successful life endeavor, I pray that the Most High will cover your experiences, cover your endeavors. For other people who are in different belief systems and different attitudes towards how you see life and existence, I pray that we can continue loving each other despite of our thought processes of our religious or even our spiritual view, because there's truly one existence. And in some concordance we must can see that there is a loving or a certain vibratory way of living that benefits all. So we want to encourage one another, iron sharp iron, each one teach one, in this endeavor. My current offering today is on a topic that I don't think it has beared so much significance to me, though I've done programs on it before, videos on it before, but I think this one is a culmination of personal, professional, and cultural and religious thought. So there's a benefit to revisiting this topic and putting it together in a way, because we have done topics on Sela Media on women, man, man ego, or we are to nurture the women, a godly women, their own abilities, and also love and relationships, right? Family feuds. I would say love and relationship 1 and 2, right? And family feuds. So this current offering on True Life Television Networks, please like, subscribe, and share. My current offering is on the family restored. The family restored. Okay. When I got into my spirituality and into my awakening, the Most High was slowly showing me things, right? Number one thing, he showed me that the family is his habitation, his place of residence in the human, Senjuru, in the human family, right? In the human existence, rather. And family is not just mother, father, brothers, and sister. It's also mother, father, brother, and sister, the Most High, Seal. So I think there's one member of the family, and I'm not joking. Sometimes I present some topic and people think I'm probably just tripping or whatever. I'm serious. God is Simbiru, is the missing member of your family that many of you are not acknowledging. So yeah, is a member of the family, Siru. So as you look at family, that's where his habitation dwell, that's where his presence dwell. I'm saying to you that the enemy knows where the Most High presence dwell amongst us as human. So I'm trying to say from this video, in addition to many other videos, that the family is ground zero of the attacks against the human life form. The destruction of any image and any actuality of a godly family is the intent of the enemy. And I don't have to be a genius, neither do you, to see that. The current plethora of information leading over the last couple of hundreds of years, and certainly a few thousand, especially since this particular civilization that we are in, our so-called civilization and enculturalization that we've been in, mostly led by a particular type of European tribes, right? Oldest name Europe Wolfgang. So the Wolfgang tribe and its Germanic roots, right? Spreading and mixing with a little bit of old Jewish roots coming from the flight of Jeremiah from Jerusalem, coming into the European world. spreading a certain kind of information, and then the esoterics, moving away from the esoterics, a certain kind of lifestyle and behavioral system was born out of that. The number one, the family structure that's been born through the Edomite Empire and its assertions in culture and its postulation through its European heritage has clearly been to the suffering of the greater masses. The family structure is hurt. It is annexed of God. It is friction. It rubs against itself. It cuts against itself. Sibling rivalry, mother against father, father against child, child against mother. It is a constancy of mixing of all negative vibration in the house of the living God. The family is under attack. It's always been under attack. And now there are several pronouncements of a new image, a new ideology of what families have been. I've even examined the idea of families through a polygamous life that is in anciency through the biblical evolution, right? And we see that the kind of character that it takes to have such a life is truly a highly moral and spiritual character led by the nature and the presence of the Most High. Again, the Most High has to be within the family. The Most High has to be within the family environment for the presence of that divine love, that divine way of life to permeate the existence. So the enemy has removed Yah from the family, has caused people to remove the presence of Yah and the interest thereof, and a splintering has started in the family where a great dichotomy on what is family, right? As modern work design structures pit father against mother, children against parents, the way in which society designs its structures of work and education, the parents are segmented in a grouping, the children are segmented in a grouping, and for those who can afford it, there is a third party growing the children. Now, sometimes within even the older family structure where the decline started, there were the in-laws or the grandparents, right, or the extended family to do that. But there were always the village growing the child. And the village isn't the dichotomy of sexual orifice and all manner of morbidity and lewdness. The village was actually the construction of the family environment, the greater family environment. It wasn't just that it was the home that was home. The entire community, the entire village was home. And if Yah is present in your home, and the communal view of self in the anciency was a unified view. So in all our homes, right, the home that has the mark of the Lamb, the angel of death shall pass over. So where the presence of Yah is within the home environment, there is love, understanding, forgiveness, truth, mercy, kindness, genuine care, and respect one to another. Now, because the family has been broken, splintered, dissected, and has become so fragmented that individual views of families have begun to dominate our consciousness, as our divided worldview of self becomes so, overly represented in our modern image media, what we call multimedia or social media. There is this design system on what families are, and everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody's throwing their 2 cents in on what families are, removing themselves from the obvious structure of man and woman and child and the Most High Yah. Still, the divine foundations have not changed. However, our applications of its virtues have changed. Our acknowledgement that it is real and genuine still has also changed. So, in essence, we are in this conceptual that is purely human. Like, okay, so what is family? I mean, anybody can be family, right? We are all a big human family, right? And we're a family of like minds. We're a family of weirdos, right? We're a family of uniques. We're a family of... But are you truly a family? When the original structure of the family, your mother, your father, by which the genes came, you are not acknowledging? Family isn't a curse, it's a blessing. And if it's a blessing where the offsprings dwell and the path they manifest through, meaning that the Most High said children is a gift. Blessed are they, are those whose quiver is full of them. So the essence of it is that even though for some people the journey to conception is long, the journey to a unified family structure is long, the family still is sacrosanct, the most sacred, and the most ancient of institutions. The family restored is my argument to correlate my understanding of what has been going on. And I'm getting to a deeper part of my argument, especially as it relates to indigenous communities or purely black families, wherever we find ourselves. There is this great attack on black relationships, on the perpetuity of unified black families. Now, the way the economic, social structure has set this reality, there is a kind of a hierarchical structure which pits black nations at the bottom of economic stratification. And their prevalence, or the prevalence of such an ideology and behavior and ways of existence materializing in our culture, has caused the black family to likewise assume the lowest position of importance, or the highest position of ridicule, of attack, or of a pervasive, invasive negative that's coming from the ethnicities and the cultures around. Black man and black woman, I'm not speaking ideology. I am not inciting riotous thinking or behavior. I'm saying from a black man who has sinned against black woman, who has repented against black woman, repented from my action against black woman, is repenting from my actions of my nation against the black women, is learning to love and appreciate the black women of this nation that I'm currently in and the nations of the earth. My continued journey to love self, and in the discovery of loving self in the agape immortal presence, I notice this continuous attack against black families. I will lay it out deeper as I go forward. As a child growing up, one of my greatest ambitions, when I know people would say, no, when I'm defining this, they'll say, oh, you're an empath or you're empathetic. Well, you know, people have many things to say about just who we are as living beings, definitions. But let me tell you, growing up, when I used to hear, when I say growing up, I should tell you the age. I mean, like, from the ages of 9 to, say, maybe like 18, 19, where it was most impressionable upon me. When I would hear black Jamaican women, many shades of the same dark, yeah, talk about what it is to be a woman or a girl or a young lady, and how it is the man make them feel. Because I don't know if some of my friends from that time were watching, but there's a lot of emotions that'll come out if you're watching. I was always destined to be the psychologist, right? This therapist. Because when I was going through my teenage years, right, I was very late to get into the attraction of the opposite sex. I was always just laid back, reserved, and into my own world of wonder. But the women who were my friends, who were my age, they all had boyfriends. Guess what Jerome became? And I wasn't proud of it. I became Mr. Advisor, Mr. Therapist. When all the broken hearted young ladies would come to me and tell me about how their boyfriend this or their boyfriend did that, and I had to look at myself and say to myself, my God, these brethren, right? Them have the attentions of these gorgeous, beautiful, absolutely attractive young girls. Like, they're literal. These girls are sharing their times with them, right? And I'm saying age appropriate, right? So, you know, culture stay already for the real Jamaican, right? So, spending time with these beautiful young ladies, and these women are always complaining. They are not this, they're not respecting them, they're not this, they're not caring for them. And I'm like, I don't even have a woman in my life. I don't even have a girlfriend. Right? I wish one of these girls would look at me and see that I desire to be for them all that they say. Boy, was I to hurt for that thought. Because the more I continued through my teenage years, the more I was just advisor, there being the shoulder to cry on, nurturer. And my greatest thought that I recognize even recently is still one of my leading thoughts. My desire to make women smile, laugh, feel honored, feel loved, feel cared for, started settle in that time. Because every time I heard about the brokenheartedness that came through their relationship, I said to myself, I would never want a woman to hurt because of me. I would never want her to cry. I would be everything. So everything that I was chronologically hearing was the cause. I tried to be that. It's gonna make sense eventually, believe me. It did two things to me. One, it made me incredibly more reserved and listen to them really, listen to what they're saying. And two, it made me a little disconnected from the mandem in the environment. Because I was getting so much information from the girls because they were always around me, telling me about the mandem. So it affected my self-image, right? And I later on in life learned that just like when you have to bump your feet and stub your toe and fall over and knock your knees, a part of your development, there were certain things that I should have naturally allowed to develop in me that I didn't because I was so interested in pleasing women. And I think it eventually led to a lot of anger and rejection in me later on in life when, let's just say, I was properly adjusted. And it was both the reason why my desires and my needs towards caring for women is so strong even today. And it was also the reason why I went through so much issues mentally and emotionally as well too. Now, because I endeavored so much to be this idealist version of a man, I never got to go through certain things. I avoided certain things. I avoided certain painful conversations, certain negative communications. I avoided it. So it kind of got pent up inside of me. So I didn't know to go through a light banter argument with a woman or a young lady or my girlfriend and then be okay with it. Because when we got into argument, it was some serious things because there's so much things pent up. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, how could she say this? How could she think this when all of my life, my essence, soul, my very total, my very nature is to be a honored servant, a caregiver, a caretaker for her life. And she would treat me this way. Or she would ascribe to me the experiences of others. Like, women have this thing, and I know you do, so don't even say you don't, of grouping even the so-called good man into the greater essence of man. Yet we are man, But I'm saying, sometimes how it is that the other man is spoken of, it is a negative. So when you are the man, and then she groups you into the other man, you accept yourself, oh my God, where did that come from? I've always been the man who's been here, caretaker, caregiver. So, that being said, understanding now, my greatest desire was to be a well-adjusted husband and father. All throughout my 20s, splintering. First problem was when I started philosophically looking outside of the notion of what the average Jamaican man should look like in appearance, belief systems, right? So I started on the Rastafari journey. That took out a great percentage of my eligibility amongst the opposite sex. Because here I was fitting a stereotype that isn't respected, even though the world loves Rastafari. Lots of Jamaicans can tell you the truth. When you are making that journey and people are saying it's changing, but in my time growing up, just 20 years ago, making that journey, it was still crazy and negative. Same. And people still looked at you like, Cherry boy, I'm mad. You understand me? So it was like, say, and Miss Cherry is my mother. They were looking at me like, say, oh, I got to a level of clarity and remove myself from this material structure to find the inner self or the inner peace within self to express later on as life or as my awareness of life. No, they just thought I was psychopathic or not psycho, I mean crazy. Like you study too much, you go crazy in the brain. So I recognized then the rejection that come upon one, a certain kind of a cultural identity black man. First point. The house Negro, as it's called amongst black people, or the system man or the system youth, gets a preference in the culture because he's said to be ambitious, right? And as such, more likely to fulfill the requirements of being a good father economically, because economics defines and dominates the argument. So it is like this conformity argument going on. So when you are not necessarily in the conformity, is that you find that you are wrought with many problems. So at first I encountered it spiritually. I had a problem making lasting relationships or having the commitment from women to think that we could be either married or have offsprings. It was always like, and I wasn't saying that I was so in the light, because you know from my previous videos that I was definitely in the dark in a lot of cases, but not wholly in all cases. But I never got that affirmation from the feminine energy. And it wasn't just a lack of quality within Jerome, it is a self and a cultural phenomenon. It is so interesting that in almost no other grouping is it as intense as it is within the black culture. And we can postulate more about that, but I'll continue. So, from my spiritual rejection then of being the ideal breadwinner and husband, father image, I began to realize that, wait, there's something going on. It is always nice for our black women to refer to men outside of the culture as being responsible, as being caregivers, as being real man, right? But it was so difficult to hear it spoken generally about the man them within the black culture. In Jamaica, them say the man them no dead, them are no father, them missing in action, them gone, right? With some other woman, but all no woman no claim them yet. You understand me? Because it's few baby mother come forward and says to the king, to the royal king, that we are keep the orders to the divine. Blessed to the princess them and the empress and the wives who treasure their husbands and honor their husbands. And I know when I say that, yeah, some people go say, watch them not try biblically control woman. Watch them know them all minded, huh? Let me tell you something. If it was good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If it was good for the ancient generation, it's good for the present generation. What? The foundations you are from, you're standing on, isn't real. Your ancestors didn't have morals and virtues. Everything is not biblical, and biblical isn't to say that it isn't factual and or it isn't actual. You understand? So in this platform on Trail Life Television Network, I always said I am broadening the scope in the original concepts I had to reach to many persuasions of thought. So, yeah, I realized that there is this thing about the black man and the image of a successful black man in my culture. The promotion of who is a responsible father, who is worthy rather to be a responsible father. And certain people never unite, you understand me? And it's interesting if others from other society were to pick up the same kind of persuasion, that terminology was not ascribed to them, but all of a sudden it ascribed to us. So black man, no honor, no dignity amongst him black woman. Few are the ones that keep that respect, because you can't say all, because I know all. So there's this thing about irresponsibility in black families. You understand me? Black marriages are seen as just hookups, while there are references to the honor and dignity in marriages. And I've listened to so much, even religious radio. I've listened to so much, and it's all other ethnic. It's all other ethnic. It's not black. It's not original, indigenous. It is other. Every image of the family, and I'm going to touch some coins now. You ever watch those commercials, right? And every image of a family was always lighter than light. And let's continue. Even now, the adjusted image that is supposed to reflect more the real nature of the highest constituents of the people, which is the darker skinned people, they still have a other appearance, a European appearance. So the European aesthetic is still promoted as family. So people might say, well, everyone have them youth. Yes, everyone have them youth. But I'm telling you something, and this might hurt. How many of you, king, where I say everyone have them youth, grow with your children, or your children are grown with you? How many are you are actually with the mother of your children, actually right now? And I know, especially in my culture, you probably have several baby mothers, right? So how many of you are growing your children in an environment where daddy isn't just an image them off on the wall, if the mother has an image on the wall, or a picture on the phone where they take 4 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 8 years ago? Yeah, every man have them youth down. So there's this psychology inherited from slavery, right? In Jamaica, we call it the breeder mentality. It is so prevalent within the black community. Because back in the days of chattel slavery, in these parts, you know, the Europeans kind of did with the indigenous people, they would impregnate the black women by making them to bend forward, facing forward and backing into a certain enclosure, and have the black male bend forward and then go in to that enclosure. While she backs in, he goes forward. So impregnation was a matter of almost like husbandry, right? And it was a most archaic, inhumane way, but the psychology of it caused this breeder mentality. Now, the breeder mentality, I can explain a little bit more. Because what happened was that the champion, so-called enslaved African, right, with the strong genes, let's just call it that. This is a big channel, right? The healthy sperm count would be the real breeder, the real impregnator, right? So let's just say then, on the same plantation, Mary and John, and I'm just using Mary and John because I know some African brothers so say, you know, you can say some African names. You understand what I say? So alright, let's say Lupita, you understand me? And Umbala. Lupita Umbala. Right? Yeah. Let's use them. Let's say then Lupita and Umbala have a certain kind of relationship, right? And the nature of their relationship is that it is like a benefit system. You understand me? It's like a benefit system, right? So the benefit is when the slave master harass them and push them into a negative situation and abuse them in every way, they find solace now in their company, right? Because them know upon the plantation, they are not humans. Them lose them humanness. They are like, you know, ownership. They are like property. So that special relationship for benefit now is more than a physical relationship because, you know, the masters are trying to control even the population, as we were saying before. So that special relationship now, right, meant that there were confidence. It was nurturing. It was very, very, very nurturing. Because remember, there's some serious things the slave masters would do to the enslaved African women, you know, right? So after that trauma, you understand me? Umbala have to hold Lupita a certain way, tight and passionately. And him couldn't try to make it physical because enough of the pain that come from physicality. So a deep emotional bond there between black man and black woman. You understand me? During those times. And here how the system, the slave system, the system of oppression destroyed it. And it's still prevalent today. Because of the champion breeder mentality now. Right? Maybe you have, you know, Ngozi now as a champion breeder. Right? And Ngozi now is the one where the owner says he wants to impregnate Lupita. You understand what I said to you, say? So now, even though Lupita and Umbala have a special relationship, when the picnic born and Ngozi picnic, 20 of the children on the plantation come from the same man. It creates a envy, a jealousy, and a wickedness amongst black man and woman. Because no matter how much the bond between Lupita and Umbala is strong, the system ensure that is not him impregnate her. So they have to hide and do it if they ever could do it. But you know, we are people, we found ways to do it. But we literally had to hide. So our relationship from chattel enslavement was never tolerated, never supported because of the breeder culture. It's a husbandry culture. And I don't care how much intellectual wants to get into an argument with me. I can take you on forever if you ever dare try to come in any argument with me about this. Right? So the husbandry culture in black men and black women turn black men into breeders, right? That's all we are expected to do. To be the breeders of our women and not responsible to be fathers because we were not encultured to be fathers. We were encultured to be breeders, to be impregnators, irresponsible sperm donors, and for our women to be broken and always crying on the shoulder of a man that is not the father of their children. Because the father of their children is the father of many other children, well spread, not in a unified system like even an ancient system of polygamy in biblical terminology, not even a system of a collective family. He's all over the place. He's splintering. He's here, he's there, he's up there. The trauma in black women is paramount. a broken evolution in black relationships. So for the black family to be restored, there got to be some genuine emotional caring that's got to return to black men. And we've got to shorten the gap between the nurturer black men and the impregnator breeder black men. Because though it is part of the so-called testosterone driven existence, irresponsibility, leaving your children uncared for, uncultured, untrained, has left them open, just like in slavery, to be easily educated under systematic manipulation, to be easily taught they have no worth, they have no value, to be subsequently manipulated entirely. So your daughters have been taught that they are prostitutes and whores. The family rejection spell, the bastard spell, is rampant amongst black families. It is so incredulous how rampant it is amongst black families. So for the black family to be restored, honesty amongst black males and black females, a certain amount of cohesive responsibility got to come into our arguments around sexual behavior. Because if we continue the breeder sexual behavior culture, we scarcely are going to have truly well-adjusted, well-educated black offspring, indigenous offsprings. We're going to have psychologically troubled individuals who are socialized in a construct that obviously does not benefit their highest good or their good at all. So I'm saying the Lupitas and the Umbalas gotta get together and have offspring. Still, I'm saying the Ngoses, you gotta move more into being like an Umbala. Still, and be father to your children so they can be fathered and cared for, not just monetarily supported. Because I know there's that part there for coming. I have someone I say, what am I talking about? Everything you have on me bite. Everything, it's me. I am providing. But are you providing love, true guidance, true observation for your child? Because the child have to look and see, you know, the youth have to look and see how the king operate, you know. Yeah? She have to look and see how the king operate to know how a husband, father is supposed to be. You understand me? It's a whole serious thing. And remember me say I have erred against my black woman name, right? Yes, I have. You think this is coming from a place of morbidity? No, it's coming from a place of life. So I recognize what I go on. I'm tired of it, right? And this is my channel, so I can speak on topics that don't please the whistle of some whistleblowers or some blow whistle trumpeters out there. But me a trumpet a song, yeah. You understand me? Black relationships are under attack. Black man, he may tell us something, and black woman may tell us something. So easy it is to cuss each other, right? You ever wonder why that is? It's so easy for you to just style, as we call it in Jamaica, or speak out of, call people out of their names in American culture. You ever wonder why it is so that we're so easily able to do that? You understand me? It's because we have been taught that we have no value. We have been taught that the value of family is not us. We are servants of families. Yeah, we are servant class. Not even class. We are actually servants. You understand? And to be the servants in under servitude, our rights of humanness have been revoked. And so the evolution of such a thought process means that, like I say, every time you look at your television screen or these mass media promotions, the image, the visual representation of family isn't in the realms of your blackness. And the next thing I would say to you too, even when it is within the realms of your blackness, it is still a systematically engineered image of blackness. And I know I have some black brothers out there who's going to say now, like I want to say, Jerome, you have been a person that sounds like you're a respectful person. Don't carry us down and be dishonorable to us now because we are shaven and we, you know, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that how many times, right, have you seen that your image is the image perpetrated and postulated and popularized, right? But you know people just like yourselves, right? I'm talking it straight, right? That are some really terrible fathers, that are terrible caregivers, right? More concerned with self-seeking, self-serving, right? A lot of times, the image that is presented isn't the image. And I'm not saying that there are lots of you who aren't, yeah, holding up the honor and the banner. And I'm not speaking religiously because some people might think I'm speaking religiously. I'm just saying a lot of times the image that is given to us of a good father or a good father figure to be is an abuser. Turns out to later be an abuser of women, right? So in a lot of senses, it's almost like there's this almost drive to, yeah, rain is coming down, gotta secure the equipment. There is almost this drive, to dishonor, black families, black realities. There's almost this constancy in behaviors to take it for granted, to not recognize the importance. It's like a man could be dating his dark-skinned sister for 15 years and something goes wrong and then the relationship goes sour. And then within a 5-month period or 6-month period, he goes outside his ethnicity. And then statements like, well, this is a wife. I just got a wife. Such insults, Why? Why? Right? Why you just got a wife? Why your 15-year relationship with your black empress wasn't the wifely relationship? Why these images of who is a hoe, who is a freak, is black, deeply, darkly black, and who is a wife and a mama is lighter than light, pretending like white, even sometimes white. Why? Why these psychologies? Why this constancy of these psychologies? So I've been a victim of it too. Because even though I wanted to be the greatest, I too got caught in that. Because when the abandonment of black women began to take my psyche, you know what began to happen? Ethnicity. Yeah. And they were there for me. And I'm not trivializing women of different ethnicity that I've shared my time with. It's I'd really be an a-hole. And I'm not. So, right? But I'm saying they came in. And boy, were they like, nurturing. And I was like, wow, I could marry, my Japanese girlfriend, because I she was the longest relationship I had, and I was thinking, yeah, I was gonna marry her, right? We proposed, got engaged, everything. But one day she said something to me, right? Because I always talk about why can't I find black women, and what's the problem here? I'm here, they're seeing me. I'm an artist, I'm performing like everybody. So what's going on? And at the same time, I guess the black women are saying, he loves these fine women. I'm like, really? Oh my God. And she said to me, Nahoka said to me, she said, you always say women, women, women. Black women, white women, Chinese women. You always say women, women, women. We all women. No difference. We all women. She said, look, you see skin? No make difference. Don't you see? Woman is same. Right? Crazy same. Happy same. Sad same. Do crazy things same. I said to myself, oh my God. I give thanks to her. Because so easily, I'm telling you, a lot of black man might have hide himself. No, I say, really? Yeah, man. A lot of you really, really, really do believe that there's some betterment in these other ethnicities. And I'm talking straight. A lot of you talk it all the time. Yeah? You believe that there's more beauty in these ethnicities. You spend your life desiring to have one. Well, give thanks to one I dated the longest, said to me, all women are same. And that did something serious for my soul, for my spirit. From then on, I said to myself, then life should be to respect who I am. So the more I got into my spirituality, the more I recognized that my issues with black women had to come to clarity. Though I didn't want to be the man who was in a broken relationship and is not taking care of his youth or his children, I saw that there's a possibility that was going to be my reality too, because of my lack of understanding and my dishonor too, and being dishonored as well. That almost literally became my reality. And I have to pray to the Most High to not make that become my reality and bring about a certain responsibility within me to learn to harmonize my family for highest good, to be a true man, a true king to the black woman, to the woman of my life, to the mother of my child and the mother of my generations, to the nations that will come forth from our lines, from the nations I have come forth from my mother and my father. You understand? So there's no self-respect without honoring that which is your natural blood, your natural heritage. So this is spirituality. This isn't philosophy. This isn't religious nature. This is just nature. It's an honor of self-respect for black man and black woman to come together in love and harmony, to reunite the family for true unity and the sacred privilege of the genetical evolution of the living being. Mothers and fathers of creation, awake to your true purpose and your true self. Yah has been good to us and he will continue to be once we have returned to our place of absolute awareness of ourselves. Dignity and honor to the black family and the black community. The black family be restored by trusting and caring for each other to repair the generational breaches and curses that have come upon our families. The strongman generational curses, the territorial demonic spells and strong evil forces of protection spells that have come through all manner of incubus, succubus, and all manner of dark sexual, ritual, magic, and dark oriented ways of life that has hold us, that have bind our evolution, that has caused conflict upon our planes. As black people, may we return as indigenous people to the altar of nature. Let Yah fill our minds with the clarity to respect one to another. Let true love arise, where the habitation of Yah is in the family. So our family, by the grace, should return. Trust each other more, black man and black woman. Listen more. Truly seek to understand. Your experience, your existence isn't so different. It's actually the same. And if that dignity doesn't start with you, then it won't come from external sources. Each one does teach one, that is sure. But you can't be sure that it's someone else will start. You have to start with yourself. Right? A message to myself, a message to all black men. Be dignified in how you deal with your black women. Black women all should be dignified in how you deal with your black man, your black king. You can't be a king if you aren't a queen. The offsprings can't be princes and princesses if you aren't kings and queens. And kings and queens of mercy, of dignity, of virtue. Your offsprings will manifest this virtuous existence. It's beautiful to see beautiful black babies running around in joy and the prosperous nature of knowing that this is their home, the cosmos. And from that breath of life that has become our reality, we are thankful to see our sons and daughters fulfilling their innermost desires, to be healers, to be educators, to be counselors. Do you understand me? To be chefs, to be husbands, to be wives, to be fathers and mothers, to postulate our existence and perpetuate the honor of Yahuwah, of the divine creator in creation as our reality. I am that I am. Male and female honored in our existence. The family restored. The family harmonized. Unite black man and black woman. Unite and harmonize the families of terra firma. I pray the Most High cover your hearts with truth, cover your souls with righteousness, and each time you stumble, you learn, rise up, and continue on your path towards greater fulfillment. I pray that this mercy will be your everyday occurrence, that the Most High will be our guide and buckler in all our experiences as we are conceived, yet conceiving, yet thinking of conception. For the beautiful women who are pregnant, life sublime unto you, unto that brilliant offspring. For those who are just about giving birth, welcome to the living cosmos, O eternal spawn of righteousness. Let your light shine throughout the world. Yah is your guiding protection, your very aura of kindness, of caring. Yah is your all. Blessings again, fathers, for the seed of life. That's how we came. Black man and black woman honored are our great-great-grandparents unto our great-great-great-grandchildren. An unyielding, unchanging bond that goes through time. If our ancestors had not survived, then how could we? This is the joy to know their sublimity, sublime nature. The celestial crowns us with the melanin of supreme health, supreme well-being. Harmonize black families, black son, black daughter. Honor black mother, black father. Honor great-grandfather and grandmother. Blessings to great-grandma, great-grandpa, to grandma, to grandpa, to uncles, aunties, nieces, and nephews. Beautiful black nation, kisses and love, honor and dignity. I am blessed to be a part of your eternal orifice, your eternal evolution, your eternal presence. Blessings be Yahuwah. Continue to watch over our families. Continue to kiss and make up. Resolve your conflicts. Let the enemy be shamed. Let the devil be put to shame, black nation. Let the devil, the enemy, the manifest haters be disgraced at how you stand with your husband, black woman, or you stand with your wife, black man. honor, dignity. The Most High continue to bless you, continue to love you, continue to protect you all. Remember that you're a gift unto yourself and to your entire beautiful family, and indeed all the ethnicities that come in contact with us. May we continue this love, this joy, in the glory of righteousness. This has been Jerome Sage Butler, reasoning at the trail light, right here in the beautiful Blue Mountains, just giving thanks for the family restored, for the black nation and the black family, the eternal family being restored. Until next time, continue to be a gift, a beautiful gift. Black people, loving it. All people, loving it. My family, you know what I mean. We're there. Hopeful. Love and liberty. Yeah, man. Until next time. Black babies, try. Yeah? Black mamas, black papas, yeah, man. Anna, 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 Anna. Always, you know what I mean? For our glory is evolving. It's growing. It's continuing. Anna. Until next time. Blessings.